This book is actually an amalgamation of 20 years worth of life that we've lived. The distraction is so much, right? Just keeping your mind focused has become a thing of the past now. To be successful in today's world is really easy because everyone's distracted.
What was your first step towards the spiritual journey?
Being born in India, we are surrounded by this. At the age of 30, I think, when I bought my first house, I was telling Neeraj, I actually lost my job. And everything came crashing down. And I remember going and sitting at the Hare Krishna temple.
Willbur Glenn Coleco. Willbur, thank you very much for coming back to the show.
Neeraj and Sunena, thank you for having me on the show.
Pleasure.
Absolutely, it's an honor, and it's always a pleasure to come talk to you guys, and it's always fun. So I'm looking forward to our fun chats.
So, where did that idea of writing the book came from? Did you always want to do that? Was it something that you always wanted to do it when you were growing up, or it's something that an acquired taste that you acquired at a later stage of your life?
A good question, Neeraj. Very good question. I always used to scribble, write poems, mushaira, shairis in Hindi and English.
Yeah.
And my English teacher, Mrs. Iona Dilima, she was the one that spotted the talent, not only in public speaking, but also in writing.
Yeah.
And ma'am encouraged me to write. And so over the years, I wrote stuff, read a lot of stuff. And, when you travel, you read books, you get something out of it. And, then, you make notes.
Yeah.
And collecting those notes, I think it's been almost 20 years. And finally, as I was sharing with you, just post-COVID,
Yes.
when the world was all gloomy and dooming, I felt that if I'm not around, I should leave some legacy for my daughter.
Yeah.
That when she sits down with a cup of coffee, there is some wisdom that Papa has left for her, and that was the whole intention of writing this book. It's almost like a Netflix series where you sort of, read a chapter, it's done in 4 pages. You don't have to sit down, for hours and hours. So,
And those who are binging on Netflix, they can finish the book in a single sitting as well.
absolutely.
Fantastic. That's absolutely amazing.
Neeraj, I can be honest. I absolutely hated books and books hated me.
Then where the transformation came from?
Transformation came, one of my mentors, and she's a multimillionaire. I had lost my job in 2012. I was working in the mining sector. And almost at the age of 30, when I bought my first property in Australia, I lost my job. And when I was attending her seminars, she said to me, Wilbur, leaders are readers. Not only leaders are readers, Warren Buffett, you pick any top Forbes, top 100 millionaires, they all read. And she said, in today's world of distraction, if you can focus, you are a winner. Because as you know, in today's world of, swapping and, checking the internet and social media, we are training our brains to get distracted. So I found this as an opportunity to train my brain to just sit and read. And hey, it is addictive. So once you do that, I can tell you I've got a bigger library at home than a TV. So this book is actually an amalgamation of 20 years worth of life that we've lived, personal development as well as spirituality. People say science and spirituality are 2 separate ends of a bridge. But my book, Drops of Wisdom, has made a humble attempt in marrying these 2 worlds.
But you both agreed, Wilbur and Neeraj, you both agreed that it was absolutely crazy today on the roads, right? I had to go, and it's not even East Asia. I think it's just Adelaide in general.
It's the weather, I think. Blame it to the weather. It was amazing weather that everyone is out and about.
I know, that is so true. And I think a lot of exciting things happening around Adelaide.
Me and Dheeraj were just sharing, with modern times, kids now are into iPads and phones and everything. And the distraction is so much,
There is.
right?
Absolutely.
Just keeping your mind focused is become a thing of the past now. People's attention span is like 3 or 4 seconds, right? So when I look at that, I feel to be successful in today's world is really easy because everyone's distracted.
Yeah.
And, and reading helps you focus.
Yeah.
Helps you concentrate. And meditation is nothing but the art of actually holding that concentration for a longer period of time. And you don't necessarily need to actually go in the Himalayas and meditate, even while cooking or doing your jobs, driving, even engaging with your kid. Being present, being aware is the crux of meditation. I can tell you there's a free app called Black Lotus.
Black Lotus.
It is from
Too late now.
I do. Om Swami.
She's already spent 90 bucks.
Get onto that app. Black Lotus will really help you with meditation.
But what I want to know is what was your, like, when did you decide that, okay, this is my journey? What was your first step towards the spiritual journey?
Our first step
And
was.
how old were you? Sorry.
Yeah, sure. I think on my 30th.
Was it your 30th?
Yes, it was my 30th. I think, you.
Sometimes the kids, like, when they just turn 10, they just start thinking about spirituality. So that's why I was just curious about.
Yeah. I mean, look, it's being born in India, we are surrounded by this, right? And sometimes what is familiar, we take for granted in life.
So true.
Coming to Australia, I was 2021. The whole goal was, okay, you've got to come here, study, finish, get a job, house. You've got to tick those boxes.
That's true.
At the age of 30, I think when I bought my first house, I was telling Neeraj, I actually lost my job. And everything came crashing down. And I remember going and sitting at the Hare Krishna temple because they offered free food.
Yeah.
And while I was doing seva there, I used to read the Srimad Bhagavatam. And that's where I discovered a lot of answers and questions and philosophies which are not available online on Google, And that quest then took me to Nepal, Pashupatinath, to research more of Rudraksha.
Yeah.
So I tell people, I said, just as your mobile phone, it's a device.
Yeah.
It doesn't care whether you are an atheist, whether you are a Hindu, a Christian, or a Muslim. If you use that device, you can connect, right?
Yeah.
Rudraksha is a device. It's a device to calm your mind, and be focused.
Yeah.
So I tell people this, that everyone should wear Rudraksha because it's a device that will help you.
Yeah, I have one from you, but I'm not wearing one at the moment. I'm sorry, I forgot.
That's okay.
That's quite interesting. So obviously, so that spirituality and fitness, they both go together. What do you mean by that? And what does fitness mean to you?
Look, there are, if you consider a table, right, and there are 4 legs to a table, your mindset, your physicality, your emotionality and spirituality. These 4 are the legs of a table. And I feel these 4 are the corners or the rooms in our house. If we don't go in these rooms and open up the windows for the air to come in, that room sort of starts smelling. So I feel as human beings, we have these 4 aspects, health, mentality, heart set, and spirituality. And I think we should all try to do something every day in all these 4 aspects. Jim Rohn actually says, keep your body fit because that's the only place you live, right? And if forget all of this, my wife being a doctor, I can tell you, and she tells me this, that a sick person sees the invisible crown of health on your head. The invisible crown of health on your head. So health is actually wealth. I mean, if you're sick, you've got cancer, etc., how is it that you're going to enjoy life? Even smallest moments with your child or with your dog, for example. So I feel that fitness, so you got to be fit, healthy, and when you have a capable body, is when you can actually pursue spirituality, pursue meditation, etc. Waiting till the age of 80 and then sitting down in Padmasana for 10 hours is not possible. So you do it while your body is capable of doing it.
Now, Willbur, you've have lots of hats. Lots of different hats here. Obviously, you've got a lovely daughter. You've got a beautiful wife. You've got your own business. You worked, and Another thing that I had no idea about you was that you were an author as well. And I have read this book. And I'll be very honest, I haven't finished the book because I obviously take turns and I read few chapters and then I've finished the book. So it'll take. I think this year I'm aiming to finish. It's a very deep book.
Thank you.
It's got a very deep meaning to it. What motivated you to write a book?
We have already spoken about it, Miss Sunny. and
Okay, thank
have-
you.
You have
I'll have to
missed
listen
out
to the
on that
podcast.
This book was written with us again when you're talking about detachment, right?
Yeah.
When COVID happened, I felt that what if I'm not around for my little one?
Yeah.
You know, so again, see the attachment to it.
Mm,
So I wrote this book as a guiding legacy for her when I'm not there.
right.
Right, that was the motivation to write this, which combines spirituality and personal development. So marrying the two worlds, the psychology and spirituality, sort of mix, match them. For example, forgiveness. People talk you should forgive,
Yeah.
but no one teaches you how.
That's right.
So the book Talks of Wisdom teaches you how.
Yeah.
So stuff like that. So coming back to that is what motivated me was obviously for my little one,
Yeah.
but again, this was an act of service.
Yeah.
I wrote this book as a dedication, obviously, to my guru Om Swami,
Yeah.
but also as for my daughter. So there was no ego, there was no I that I'm going to write this book and I want to be a bestseller and I want to be famous. It was nothing. I just thought, even if I have 10 copies of it, that's plenty. One for my daughter. But again, I think the universe looks at your intention, and this
That's
book.
right.
This book, and many people resonated with that intention, and then we sold about 8,000 copies online in the first week, and it is an Amazon bestseller in about 7 or 8 categories. And your favorite author, Jay Shetty, he also was in the in the league of meditation, and Vikas Lakhani as well in meditation. So my book actually surpassed that
That's
ranking
amazing.
for that week. So that's how it ended up becoming Amazon bestseller.
That's great.
But again, just a snippet. It was an act of service.
Yeah. Beautiful. That's so good.
In the modern world, I feel manifestation, attraction, the word even attraction has the word action in it.
Yeah.
Okay. Nothing can happen unless you work. And again, coming back to Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna being the best archer, having God head himself as his charioteer, he still needed to fight. He still had to perform his action. He still had to take action. So unless you, वो कहता है ना हिंदी में, God खुदा उनको ही
God
मदद
helps
करता
those who
है
help
by themselves,
Yeah.
right? So you can manifest whatever you want, but you got to put in 80% of the work.
Yeah.
Food, I'd say Italian food is my favorite.
Is it? Okay.
Fettuccine carbonara is like I love it. I love it. Yeah.
Okay. And do you cook as well, or
That department belongs to the wifey,
Right.
and she's the person that has given me the 6-packs and taken away the 6-packs as well.
excellent. All right. Lovely.
It's time to say goodbye now, Wilbur. Thank you very much for coming to the show. We had such an amazing
Thank you.
conversation with
Thank you so much.
And I'm sure our listeners have enjoyed as well. We would love to have you back some other time as well, talking more about food, fun, fitness,